We just had a final in Missouri, in Columbia, and a former Duke player was absolutely outstanding. He went off in a big way tonight. When you look at the game between Missouri and Alabama, kind of wild. They got on him, Missouri did, and got on him early. They beat the Tide 110-98. They really kind of held the Tide at arm's length the entire game. Mark Mitchell finishes the game 11 of 15, the former Duke transfer from the field. He was 8 of 12 from the charity stripe, finished with 31 points. Mark Sears did what he could. He had 35, but Dennis Gates gets himself a massive quad one win. Jeff, for Alabama, that is now 2 losses in a row. The impact is what, sir?
Well, it's huge for Missouri because, they can get to that 4 seed line and maybe get protected and stay closer to home in the NCAA tournament. Listen, this is a team that nobody expected to have this type of year. What Dennis Gates has done is incredible. I mean, really incredible if you think about it, right? He's taken a lot of cast-offs. Let's be honest here. Caleb Grill, Iowa State didn't really want him. Mitchell, Duke didn't really want him. Tamar Bates, I'm not sure Indiana really wanted him. Tony Perkins had been a little bit, at Iowa. So he's taken a lot of guys that weren't the guys that everybody wanted, even in the portal. And, he plays this style that really fits his team. And I think that's one of the things that they did a great job of, he and his staff. Sometimes you have to know who you want to get for your head coach, who fits. And they did a great job with Dennis getting guys that fit him and his style.
Especially after a year ago when they were non-competitive. I mean, they were completely and utterly at the bottom of the league. The year before, they were the surprise. So for him to be able to kind of, get the program balanced and now competitive again at a high level and to get the right guys. And I got to think it's hard, Randolph, because we're in a world now where you got to judge character in a split second. We're in this, portal and guys are moving in and out. And he's got a couple of homegrown dudes that he's had for the last couple of years, plus some transfers anchored around that. But to me, anytime you can get the right culture when you're in this era, it's a job well done by everybody on the staff.
We shouldn't be surprised because this is what Florida State team has been in years past with depth. And you talk about multiple guys. They play 12 guys. They playing these guys. It's easy to have this many guys and it's easy to play buy-in because it's almost like the mindset is you're going in for a TV timeout. You play as hard as you can. Where everybody's trying to condense their roster or condense their lineup, maybe go to an 8-man and get shorter. Gates is playing 10, 12 guys, and they're going to rotate those guys in. If they play healthy, I never thought I'd see a team for 2 halves when Alabama's making shots, beat them in a high-scoring game. That's usually how Alabama wants to play. They want the score to be around 100. There's not many teams that are capable of doing it, but you saw the Missouri come out tonight and put up 110 on them. And this wasn't even an overtime game. It's just impressive to see, but I'm not surprised. The only thing I'd add is it's funny, and I've said this behind the scene and I say it now. I felt as though now if you're Florida State right now, how do you not go get him before and just make this transition years ago and have him be your head coach right now before you letting him go to West? Like I would I get
because it was buyout.
No. I'm talking about.
He's talking before
Cleveland State. I'm talking
before. Okay,
I just
fair.
thought it was
that's
just.
Fair.
I just think it's just in the sense of you're like, hey, because I'm not saying you get rid of Ham, but in the sense of this is one of Ham's guys. Like Ham was,
and Ham was in the 70s. Hey, yeah,
exactly. If Ham, Ham might say, all right, if it's gonna be Dennis Gates, I'll move out the way a lot quicker than us being the way we are right now. Now you're about to go on this search and figure it out. When if you offered him that job at Florida State right now, just throw that out there. But I've been a big Dennis Gates fan. We all have. He's done a hell of a job. She deserves way more attention than he's probably getting right now. But like you said, I think their team with that style of play and the players that they have, they're not only going to get to the tournament, they're going to be a tough ass out when they get there.
They are. They're pretty damn good. Tyler, any concerns after couple losses in a row for Alabama, Nate Oates?
Well, just to touch on Missouri, because I grew up
Go
in
ahead.
Missouri. Dennis
Yeah.
Gates, he deserves a lot of credit, like we just talked about. I actually have been following Missouri, and I think they've been one of the more underrated teams in all of college basketball. For some reason, they've had some big wins, and the Mark Mitchell kid, they can play multiple styles of basketball. They have a big Josh Gray that they bring in off the bench that really embraces his role, that gives them size. And then you see at times when they go to that lineup with Mark Mitchell at the 5, Mark Mitchell is so athletic, he has the ability to switch and guard anybody. And they're a long, athletic team that can get out and run and score, kind of like what we just talked about. Dennis Gates done an unbelievable job, and he should actually be mentioned in the Coach of the Year talks as well. But to Alabama, I do see Alabama at times, kind of struggling and having these odd games. But I'm not going to make too much of that. I've actually been a big fan of Alabama because I saw them in the Smith Center, and I know what they can do. I mean, they're big, athletic. They have size. I just feel like playing in the SEC, you're going to run into one of these teams, especially on the road. It's just going to beat you up, and you're going to take some losses like this. I'm not overly concerned. I still think Alabama is a Final Four contender type team. And the reason I say that is because they do have veteran players. Mark Sears, a guy who can get you shots. He's a veteran guy, and the Mourier guy, he really embraces his role. He's a guy, athletic, big, get up and down the court. And Grant Nelson's a guy who can step it out, outside in, provides a lot of length. And also, they made a run last year, so they're an experienced team. I don't doubt Alabama. I think this win has more to do with how good Mizzou is.
Let's take a break. We'll come back after the break, talk about North Carolina dominant in an in-state rival game tonight against the Wolfpack, and St. John's cruising the road in Chicago in the Big East. We'll do that next